Level Up Latina partners with working women and mamas alike to guide them in achieving fulfilling career and life goals through financial empowerment, professional or leadership coaching, and personal wellness. Find the unique coaching you need to succeed.
You're listening to Vero, Ceci, and Irene, and we are Level Up Latina.
Welcome back to the Level Up Latina podcast summer series. This is el episode 261. Right, Ceci? Okay.
Sí.
I was looking for a thumbs up from my community here. Thank you, ladies, for giving me the thumbs up. Yes, episode 261. And this summer series has been a good one. We've talked about a lot of things. And today, it's probably one of those favorite ones, the random episode of where we talk anything and everything, especially comida. But before we finish today, or before we even get started, and talk about random things. How are Ceci and Irene doing today? Que no te rías, Ceci. No te rías de mí.
Sorry.
Ríete conmigo.
Good. This is like the last of 5 rapid fire episodes of that. Was it 5?
Yeah.
We did it. Have we ever done 5 before?
No,
It's a
we
record.
haven't.
I don't think I've ever done this many. So we probably sound like crazy people. Ya comimos. Volvimos a comer. We started
Ya tengo hambre.
Yeah. We started with lunch. We're ending with dinner. This was awesome. This has been awesome. We hope that you've enjoyed our shenanigans this summer. And this is the random show. So we're going to talk about anything and everything. And then we'll be back to our usual programming in September. Well, time flies.
Se va rápido. Eso sí. Ceci's eating, so she'll check in really shortly. But yes, we are here viviendo la vida this summer. It's been a nice summer. Hopefully you have all enjoyed your summertime, summer learning, summer doing. If you've been swimming, great. I don't know how to swim. I can doggy paddle only. So technically I know how to swim, right? If I could doggy paddle, I'm okay. I think so.
You're good.
You know how to survive it. No te puedes with the doggy paddle.
I can definitely survive if not just turn around and float. Float! Instead of just keep swimming, my saying is just keep floating because, te vas para abajo.
Just keep floating. Hope you float back to the surface.
Scary. Yeah, a veces me pongo a pensar las tonteras que he hecho, like being out in the water, like just being young and dumb and wild and free. I'm like, yeah, young, dumb, wild, free. More like free to just die in the middle of the ocean. How dumb I've been, But anyway, so with the randomness today, I think last episode I talked about the boomerang chancla. It made me laugh because that morning when we were recording the podcast, well, we're doing 5 rapid fire. So when I talked about this story about that this morning, Galilea that morning, today in the morning, had woken up and she goes to my bed and she's like, Mommy, do you remember that time you were chasing me around the house with a chancla? Y tenías tú.
All kids remind us of our not fine.
Yeah, I know. And she goes, y tenías esa cara como, ugh, and she makes my face.
Oh, of course she did. Of course.
And then I was like, ay, mija, te dio mucho miedo. Le hace, no, me dio risa. That she was like remembering and she was laughing. And I was like, I'm so sorry, mija, perdóname que te correté con la chancla. And she's like, no, me dio mucha risa porque tú estabas bien enojada. Ay, que me ibas, ven para acá, Galilea. It's so funny that my mom jamás was that person. And all of a sudden, I'm that typical meme mom, the meme moms of la chancla. Y que no más te digo otra vez, no andes chingando. Like, how did I become that lady? But are you guys surprised at all at the señoras you've become? Like, sometimes I'm like, what the fuck?
You know what? There's hope, though, because, I was chill and wanting to be a chill parent, then I was a crazy ass all over the place, regañándolos, gritándolos, a todos quería nalgadas, at least the oldest. I mean, Diego was the other kid, I was a mess, and I feel like I've come to the other side, and I'm, super chill again, but they're obviously older, so when they can do chores and wipe their own ass and get good grades, it's a little bit easier, obviously. I wonder if I'd still be a crazy lady, but it goes in waves, Vero. I don't think we stay in that, crazy mom running after them, but I definitely was. I can think of a time where the kids bond often over times that I remember the time you spanked me? And I always tell the story. Remember the time you grounded me? Sophie the other day was like, remember the time that you made Isaiah and I walk to school? We used to not walk to school. We were really little. She was in kindergarten. And you were so mad at us that you made us walk, but I think you followed us, but we were walking to school crying because you made us walk to school. I made them get to school late, because I was done with them. Yeah. I was like, you're going to be late then. You're going to be late then because all this dragging you out of the house and trying to get you on time and you don't care. And that wasn't my finest hour. But then I'm like, oh my God, why do you guys remember those things. Yes, you're right. I did watch you walk to school. I actually did follow you in my car because I don't want my kindergartner to walk alone with their big brother. But they remember those times that it's not your finest hour and you're pissed. And I can't think of a time that I would like now lose my cool like that. Maybe around, what would I lose my cool around that? Maybe cleaning the house now? Not even. My kids are super clean. I don't know. But they are, maybe if they were to talk back, right? They're teenagers. They're normal. They actually do talk back. But yeah, it goes in ways, Vero. But I can remember being like,
it's because you have to remind them.
Sure.
You have to remind them who the fuck you are, you know? Like every so often.
Who the fuck is in charge here? Who pays the goddamn bills?
It's like, I would tell my friends sometimes, like, oh, you know, my boyfriend Nesto, even with your boyfriends, like, or your people that you're dating, like, I'm like, fucking show them your psycho sometimes, para que se les quite, you know, like, it's okay to be a little,
yes.
Like, even if you're not, like, just be like, I'm fucking burn your house down. No, I'm just kidding. You don't want to say that, right? But I'm like, show them your little psycho para que se dejen de aprovechar. Like, you can be nice and do all that, but it doesn't mean you can't be a little crazy. Like, show them a little crazy. Show them a little crazy every so often. Remind them who the hell you is, because I know.
It's funny though, Vero, but they only remember the crazy. Why do they only remember the crazy? Like, remember all the times that I was generous and patient?
They remember that
with your
too.
Dad.
They're gonna remember that.
That's the times que te agarré de las greñas that one time.
Yeah.
Never forget
Oh my
it.
Me
God.
llevaste por toda la calle, por las hills de San Francisco, mami, de las greñas, a mí y
Like,
a mi hermana.
please forget the time que te agarré de las greñas.
That story that you're telling, that que se acuerdan tus kids, Irene. I feel like Samantha's gonna be like that recently with me after, because recently she was, they were running late for school. They were running late for school as always, and I'm like always on top of them and all that. And it was likely one day that I had very little patience because it was an office day for me. So mind you, like, the rule is you can't go downstairs and play with the dog until you're ready and your backpack is ready to go, right? And so Samantha was already downstairs, right? So cool. We all walk out and we're getting into the car, and then what happened? And then we're in the car. So I'm about to like arrancar el carro. I'm about to drive off, and then someone's like, I don't have my backpack. The backpack had the lunch, and I'm like, I'm not going back. Whatever, you figure it out. Like, anyway, I'm like, get back, or no, I made her get off the car, ring the doorbell, because I'm like, I wasn't gonna open the door, whatever. Luis didn't open the door. I'm like, we're leaving, whatever, you call your dad, you figure it out, he can bring you your lunch or whatever. So we're driving, I'm already driving to school, and I put I call through the car phone, and then she calls, papi, me traes mi lonche, ¿qué pasó? Es que, and I'm like, she was distracted, she was downstairs, I don't know what she was downstairs, but I don't have time to go back. And it was like, I didn't really have time to go back, and it was either, and they were going to be super late to school anyway. So we got them to school. She was like, with her little watery eyes, and I told the teacher, I'm like, she didn't bring her backpack, and she called her dad. The dad's going to drop it off. And she's like I get it. She has her own kids, whatever. But that's probably a story that she's going to remember. Mami, ¿te acuerdas when you didn't wait for me, or I didn't, you made me go to school without a backpack, something like that.
It's good for them. Yeah. Those consequences are super, super, super good for them. Now, if we could sometimes have a less crazy delivery, like Vero says, her kid reenacts the way she made the face. I'm like, I guess we can't have both things, right? But it's super, super good for them to let them deal with uncomfortable situations and natural consequences of not having listened or been ready or being late. That's so good for them. We can't protect them from that.
Look,
or we'll go crazy.
I am the queen of late. But I also have made an effort to be as close on time as possible. It's hard to get 4 kids ready in the morning. It's hard to, do all these things. So I have my kids, como tú con la mochila, everything's in your backpack, get your backpack. For me, the kids know, when it's school days, you're responsible for your sweater, your water, your backpack. That's what you get. You put on your sweater, you get your backpack, and you carry your water bottle. So, and their water bottles, and if it's anytime after that, anywhere we go, they always bring their agüita. I'm like, I don't like to be buying water bottles. I don't like to be, nada. Here's your water. Don't lose it. Joaquin has the worst maña. He always loses it. And he's been time after time, I'm like, mijo, ¿dónde está tu agua? No sé. Búscala. And he goes around the house, doesn't know how to find it. But I do the same thing, Ceci. Yesterday, I was like, Gali, you need to go to ballet. We need to go. Things didn't fall into plan as how I envisioned it, because it was for Maurita's birthday. And I'm like, things didn't fall into plan. The person that was supposed to come help us at the end didn't come help us. So now I'm going to take all of you kids with me to ballet to take Gali to class, come back, and then we'll figure everything else out. And I go, Gali, just make sure you have your water and you have your bag with your tap shoes, because you guys might do tap today. She's like, okay. Supposedly she was ready. We get in the van, and it's hot, you guys. It's hot. It's been hot in LA. Their little studio gets warm with the little girls all dancing and stuff. We get in the van. I'm like, all right, we'll buckle up. Todos abrochense. Buckle up, Maurita. All the other kids buckle up themselves. And Gali goes, mi agua. And we are like, no. I'm like, we're not going to be late. I was like, ¿sabes qué, mija? Pues te chingaste. And I said it like that. I was like, pues ya te chingó, mija. Porque yo le dije muchas veces, tráigase, like, bring your little dance bag. And make sure you bring your water because I know you get thirsty. And she's like, but my water's right there. I was like, yeah, it was right there and you still left it. So we got to go. But we're right outside the house, Mom. I'm like, no, I already buckled in your siblings. Like, we need to go or you're going to be late. And we take off. And she was so like upset and hurt. She's like, but the water was right there. I'm like, yeah, mija, but I also told you. And we're not going to continue this conversation. It's done. And she's like, you just don't want to listen to me. I'm like, no, I heard what you had to say. Now you listen to me. That's why you're responsible for it. That's why I reminded you. That's why you were supposed to walk out of the house with all your things in your hand. So now you're done. So then Joaquin goes, you can have some of my water. She's like, yo no quiero tu agua. But it was like, dude, come on, like that was your bad.
Yeah.
But sometimes I do feel like I could just run in there. But I'm like, no, like I cannot. I'm not going to also take on, I'm not taking I took on the commitment to get you to where you need to get to. I don't want to be late because of things that you tend to forget, because I'm already late. I don't want to continue my kids to think that it's okay. Like, I don't think it's okay. Like, if I'm late, I'm in a hurry. I'm like, let's go. Quería llevarme un taco, ni modo, ya me chingué. Vámonos. O me quería servir un café. I don't have time. Vámonos. Lo dejo hecho, I'm not like, all right. I don't like those people, you guys. I get it. I run late. I might be a minute, 2 minutes late. If I'm running late longer than that, I'm like, hey, I'll send a message. It's like, hey, I'm going to be 10 minutes behind. If it's 10 minutes behind, I'll cancel. I do not. I won't even show up. Me da vergüenza. There are people that I have seen recently stroll, like into things. I'm like, I'm like, what? I'm like, is my clock wrong? But how am I going to be embarrassed for other people? I can't do that. For me, I would just not go. I don't show up. I'm like, nope, I don't want to be that person. But I've noticed that there's people, I'm like, okay, I thought I was bad. And there's people que sin vergüenza llegan a las cosas, like half an hour, 40 minutes. Like, the class is 45 minutes. Like, why are you even bringing your kid? Things like that with no rush, where there's more than 10 people waiting for you. I'm just like, I know, yo me muero por dentro. You girls are like the timely ones, all that stuff. Like, I don't know about you guys. Like, I know that sometimes se desesperan conmigo, like, for those few minutes, but it's like, I think you guys would kill me if I showed up like, 30 minutes, like, not even worried about like, oh, hey, llegué a la media hora.
You're perfectly fine, Vero. No way. I would kill you if it was over 10 minutes.
Like,
I know.
Oh my gosh. How do people live like that? But anyway, enough of that. That's random. That's totally random. But yeah, having our kids, maybe los traumamos un poquito, but they need to remember, like, hey, next time, you're not going to forget that water, right? With one of my kids, he doesn't care. He always forgets it. No big deal. Whatever. This time, he happened to have it to offer to his sister. Perfect. But they need to be, there's a few things you're
It's so funny that he happened to have it to offer to her, and she's like, I don't want your stinking water. Yeah. Funny. The irony. He's like, girl, you lucky I know where my water is, girl. You lucky I got it to share.
Like,
fine, guys.
I ain't dying of dehydration. You is, like you. But yeah.
Pero I think your original question was like, are you surprised that you're like, if you're that becoming that mom, or are you not? So I think I'm not surprised, but I think it's funny when I like hear myself like repeating like phrases that my mom would say, like the other day I said, I don't know what happened. Luis, I don't know what he did. I'm like, pero hombre, pues. I said like that, pero hombre. And then he's like, ay, catita, And I was like, oh my God. I'm like, I didn't even say it to like make fun of my mom. Like, it just came out. And I said, really? It just came out? I was like, yeah, it just came out. And then what else did the girls have been like whining a lot or like complaining like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. I'm like, pues yo no quiero limpiar esto. Yo no les quiero hacer desayunar. ¿Crees que you guys think that I want to make breakfast? I don't. I'm tired. I'm like, but I make it. I do it. I'm like, so you two hagan sus cosas que tienen que hacer, So I've noticed that I've been doing that. And it's like likely stuff that my mom said to me. Like, I don't want to do that, but hazlo, Se hacen las cosas.
Eso sí. Yo tampoco te quería hacer desayuno, pero te lo hice. Like, it's what it feels like. Ahora,
we turn into our parents.
Come,
we turn into our parents.
Yeah, for sure. It's all good, though. I think like our parents did it. I mean, like, I think those were maybe our memories, right? Like our memories of those moments that just happened to come out. So like maybe down the line, when Samantha is like, has her kids, if she decides to have children and she's running, they're running a little bit, behind, she'll be like, well, my mom wants this to me. Y va a salir eso, like, pues ahí se queda la mochila. Te chingaste, vámonos. Like, it's okay. I think it's,
You see?
it's ingrained in us in a different way. I don't think, I think of when my dad echaba sus madres, right? Mi papá was a big echaba madres. Like, I don't feel like trauma from it. I just like remember it. I'm like, that was crazy. But I don't feel like this, no sé, like pain from it or anything. A veces me da risa. Like my dad, like he would really echaba sus madres, like, and then he would like kind of do his stomps holding the belt, knowing that his belt was well around his waist. It wasn't coming off. Like he wasn't hitting us, but there's people out there. Yes, there's kids that did get the beating and the yelling and all that stuff. But like for me, like I sometimes think like my mom wasn't that. Why am I that? But it's just those moments that you remember, like cuando le jalaste las greñas, that it was just like not my finest moment, but it just happened. So we kind of remember it, and I laugh it off now. But I didn't suffer trauma from it, so that's why I think it's funny. But we each had a different upbringing. We each kind of experienced different things. And some of us yelling is a trigger. And to some of us, it triggers laughter. To some of us, it triggers like those those responses and those feelings that are just not cool, So if you're any listeners out there, you're like, oh my God, ustedes están locas, where you're yelling at your kids. Oh my God, like, no, we're not, it's not something that we want to instill like fear or anything like that. It's just those moments of desesperación. We're being just vulnerable moms here of how like it's hard. It is really hard to get everyone on the same page, like if it's 1 kid, 2 kids, 4, whatever, like it's our way of like just getting through that moment. And it's not like we're purposely trying to inflict pain or fear into our children. So forgive us for being gritonas y echando madres, pero eso es lo que pasa. Así pasa. Las viejonas that we become.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really feel like
And it's all with love. Yeah. Obviously, we've never condoned like beating your kids up or anything. It's all with love. We've come a long way. Our parents, I don't know. My mom, me hubiera agarrado de las greñas. She probably would have. I don't know. My mom was the patient one. My dad probably would have lost his cool. I think we act like our parents. We repeat what our parents said sometimes, but I think we do better overall. And I think our kids will do better. I always tell the kids, you better not put a finger on my grandkids. You better not raise your voice with my grandkids. You better treat them with love and respect, which is such a double standard. But yeah, every generation gets better.
Yeah.
Eso sí. I mean, in my case, it was always my mom que era less impatient than my dad. My mom, sí, ella la que echaba sus madres. So her phrase, chingada madre, she would always say chingada madre para todo. Or when she was like, I don't know, building something or el clavo didn't go in right or chueco, chingada madre, like she would always say that, chingada madre. So I don't think sí se me ha salido chingada madre, actually.
Yes,
it's funny because we talk a lot like that in my family. Like my dad era bien like mal hablado, like my mom says, but my mom never was. My mom never was. Never, ever, ever bad words, or she just did not. Yeah, my mom does not use bad words and never use them. And it's funny that she even has like words that are a substitute for bad words. And my sister was the same way. Like instead of fuck, my sister says fudge. My mom would say, instead of like puta, she'd say punta. Like, ay, esa mujer es muy tonta, like she changed the word up a little bit, and even that, to even say that esa mujer, like she wouldn't even say esa mujer, but it's like if she wanted to say something and that was necessary, like I don't know, my mom just didn't have a bad language. My dad, beyond terrible, and so we got it from my dad, and my mom was always like mortificada that we got his, and I still talk like my poor dad, like he was terrible and funny, hilarious, the way he cursed people out and the way he talked about people, just hilarious and actually kind of not funny. It's probably a trauma response that we laugh. It was terrible.
Yeah, I would not want to get my ass chewed out by my dad if I wasn't a stranger. Like, I've heard my dad tell someone, like, chinga tu madre 1000 veces cada vez que respires. You know how much that is?
Yes. And that dad talks the same way.
Oh, my God.
Like, I'm like, Dad. And my dad's, like, such a sweet man. Like, my dad's a cool dude. But I'm like, did you just tell that person to do this 1,000 times each time they breathe? Like, what? They took a breath, like, damn, pobrecita su madre, But yeah, I think that we are trying to do better. We are doing better. Like, let's make that a takeaway. Like, sometimes you got to let it out. It's a little frustration. It's those moments of just like, I wish I had a little bit of that je ne sais quoi, you know, that coolness of like, it's cool, man, don't trip, we all mess up. Like, but we mess up, you know, and it's like nothing where we threw him off a bridge, thank God, right? But it's more of like, I get it why there's some people that might do that. Not that I condone it, but like there's hard moments in motherhood and parenthood. So take away the fact that we're trying to do a little better. It's something where, you know, we want the best for our kids. And sometimes it's just that no nos hacen caso los cabrones, pero está bien, ni modo. ¿Qué vamos a hacer? Va poco a poquito van aprendiendo. Like, los míos están chiquitos. They're still like little. They're getting it together. And they're smart kids. They're just, you know, how can I expect them to know more or do better than adults when adults don't even sometimes, right? So you kind of have to meet them where they're at. Remind yourself, these kids are going to drive me nuts. Me van a sacar las carnas verdes, you know, antes de que they're even in their teenage years. But it's like, is it really worth the battle? Is it really worth this? Is it really worth jalón de orejas y de greñas? Maybe not, right? But sometimes it happens, and it's okay for the mamas out there and the papas out there. So for the summer series, I'm wishing you, because school is going to be starting soon, I'm wishing you lots of patience, everyone. To the moms and the dads out there, to the mamas and the papas, remember, be patient. If you're running late, it happens. You know, sometimes they're going to have to leave the water bottle. They're going to have to leave the backpack. Lessons learned. And for us too, maybe sometimes we just need to be like, hey, before you do this, make sure you put that there. Like reminders, and our kids will catch up. We need to learn the patience. School's starting soon, and we have to get to work on time. We have to get to our destinations on time, but let's get there safely as well. So les deseamos mucha paciencia. Les deseamos mucho amor in these new upcoming back to school and the fall weeks. Since it's a fall, you still have time to grab your ticket for our brunch on October 12th. That might be a good moment to come out and just share your experiences of what it's like, you know, being a Latina, being a mom in the professional world, being, you know, just being a thriving female in whatever it is you're doing. Come out and share your wins, share maybe some advice for us mamas that might lose it every so often. But it's a great time to build community, meet new people, and then kind of expand on that patience. So come and have a good time, enjoy a great brunch, enjoy some giveaways on October 12th. Join our Guilt-Free Squad. It's never too late to find the support that you need from amazing mujeres, and learn about coaching with Vero, Ceci, and Irene at leveluplatina.com. Las queremos mucho, se cuidan, se la lavan, y nos vemos on the next one.
Thank you for being here. Las queremos mucho.
Ciao, ciao. Thank you.